say so long. If this is goodbye. Without you, hey girl, now don't put me on. What's gonna happen to me when you're gone? How will I live? How can I go on?
Cincinnati's Oldies Network.
Cincinnati. The following is a paid program. Its views and opinions are not necessarily those of this station or its management.
Good morning, and welcome to the Rock and Roll Real Estate Hour, starring Gary Rossignol of RE/MAX Preferred Group. To be part of the program, dial 513-563-1480 to get your answers to questions about your home and property. That number again, 513-563-1480. Now, here's Gary.
Happy summer morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Gary Rossignol, the Rock and Roll Realtor with RE/MAX Preferred Group, your host every Saturday morning from 9 until 10 a.m., along with my co-host, Mr. John Engelhard, the MLO on the radio with Huntington Bank. We hope to share some interesting information. We can only talk about what we know, and that is real estate, music, mortgages, music, more real estate, more music, and the list goes on and on.
Well, happy August the once there, Gary.
That's right. It is the first day of August.
Where the year is gone.
It's just, things have changed. Oh. Things are really different. So if you have a question about any of those topics, which is real estate, music, mortgages, more music,
yeah.
Please call us at 513-563-1480.
And we don't do state capitals.
No. No spelling bees, nothing like that. But at any rate, here's today's rock and roll trivia question for a $10 gift card to Starbucks. And if you haven't won in the past 60 days, you qualify today. And that number, 513-563-1480, is your gateway to win that $10 gift card. If you can answer this question, and it's pretty simple. I try to make it a little difficult, but we'll see how it goes. An Australian rock singer had a U.S. #1 hit back in 1981 called Jessie's Girl. Name that singer. First two people to call up will get themselves a $10 gift card to Starbucks. Again, if you haven't won in the last 60 days, and I got some music aficionados that call every week.
Well, we give a clue. The guy was also on a soap opera.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
General Hospital for those who watch those things.
That's
ever since Dark Shadows, I haven't seen anything.
Well, back when I was running around the country with Engelhard Humperdinck, we played Las Vegas for a week or 2 weeks at a time. We had nothing to do all day. I didn't golf, and it was too expensive to run around Las Vegas, so I'd sit in my room and got hooked on soap operas. I hate to say that, but, that's... Oh, you need a pen? Yeah, Kevin's taking down the winners' names right now as we speak. Good deal. All right, so... let's start off with the 30-year mortgage rates. This is right up your alley.
Yes,
I'm
it is.
sure you know these facts. According to the National Association of Realtors yesterday report I printed out, the 30-year mortgage rate dropped to 2.99% average. Mm-hmm. True or false?
Now, well, there's an asterisk next to that.
Okay.
Because when they do that, they don't tell you if there's any points involved on
Right.
it. Because there's a difference between a par rate with no points and one with points on it. And when they do an average like that, you have to read, the large print giveth and the small print taketh away.
Right.
And if you don't read the small print, that might have a half a point on it.
Okay.
Because
But still,
because right now, realistically, the rates were at 3 1/8 to 3 yesterday,
Okay.
par.
Right.
So
It's still,
yeah. I mean, what's 0.001%?
Yeah. I spoke to a mortgage lender the other day, and he did a VA loan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the guy had like 800 credit score.
Right, which is important.
Yeah, and he got a VA loan for 2.5.
30-year fixed?
Yeah.
Wow.
Unreal.
It is unreal.
He was amazed. He says, "I can't believe it."
Well, again, it's the times that we're living in. And like I said, when I got into business, we talked about this before, I was doing 17% mortgage rates back in the late 80s.
Yeah, when we bought our first house, that and when I got into business in 1986, and interest rates were. I told buyers, if you can get below double digits,
You were great.
you were on top of the world. But see, the thing, John, now our buyers don't know that stuff,
No.
and they're used to 3.5% and 4% for the last couple of years. And
That's true.
When we talk about bumping up to 4 1/4, they go, I'm not going to spend that kind of money.
Right, and you got to wonder, and I don't know what the figure is in front of us, but over the last 20 years, I bet you the average interest rate's been probably around 5.5% or 6%. Does it have it in your little article there?
According to the article here, it said the 30-year fixed rate mortgages average 2.99 with an average of 0.8 point.
Aha! See
There it
that's
is.
small print.
Yeah, falling slightly from 3.01% average.
Right.
The lowest average on record is 2.98%, which occurred in mid-July last year. At this time, 30-year rates averaged 3.75%.
That's about right. Yep.
Yeah. And now the 15-year fixed with 0.7 points, which is still less than 1 point,
Yeah.
was 2.51%.
That's about right because, and again, this is a generalization what we're making here. The 15 years are around 2.75 par. Mm-hmm. So that sounds about right. You can buy down the rate with points.
Right.
But you have to decide whether or not that makes sense or not.
Now, what makes sense on that? If a buyer's going to know is that I have some folks who just helped a couple a month ago. They bought their first house. They will live there the rest of their life, probably.
Right.
I know it. Mm-hmm. I'm dead sure on it.
Right. Well, the difference, and it depends on a lot of things, but the amount of money, your loan balance, your loan amount, the higher it is, obviously, a point is 1% of the loan. Mm-hmm. So 0.7 is 0.7 of a point. So, and I don't have a calculator in front of me, but if you had a $100,000 loan, 0.7% of $100,000 is what, $700?
$700.
So it would cost you an extra $700 on your closing cost to get that. Mm-hmm. Versus if the rate were par, you'd have no extra cost. It makes a lot more sense to lower the amount to buy down the rate because it's not that much of a hit to your closing cost.
Right.
So if you're doing a $200,000 and you're doing 1 point, that makes it easier. That's $2,000 extra
right.
to your closing cost, and you got to determine whether or not that makes a difference in your payment. How much of a difference? If it makes it a $15 difference, is it worth $2,000 extra dollars? Mm-hmm. Because odds are you're going to refinance in the next 4 or 5 years anyway.
I like to sit down and figure it out, and when I'm coaching buyers and making offers, and especially in today's market where we are smack dab in the middle of a seller market.
Oh, yes.
I'll tell you some amazing stories in a moment. But and if the buyer has to bump their offer up an extra couple of $1,000s, I like to whittle it down to the bare bones and say, you know what that $2,000 is going to cost you a month?
Right. Well, exactly.
Less than $1 a day.
And also you got to make sure that the value is there.
Exactly right.
Because if the value's not there and you bump it up and the purchase price is more than the appraisal.
Now you want to put that buyer in top position on a multiple offer scenario. If they offer more money than we think the house might be worth, write in the contract. Now, this is for my realtor friends tuning in. If you want to make your buyer stand out above all the other offers, because you can guarantee a decent house priced right is going to have multiple offers, just write in that the buyer will make up the difference in cash between the appraised value and the purchase price.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Because I've heard it where sellers took a lesser offer because it's not going to appraise. We don't want to find out 3 weeks from now that it's not going to appraise. We're going to take this offer. Mm-hmm. Now a buyer that offered $5,000 more says, "Wait a minute, we offered more money." Mm-hmm. Wow, a smart buyer agent would have said, "Okay, how much do you want that house? You have an extra $5,000. Make up the difference."
Right.
Bingo. Now here's another trick. You want to be on top of the pile. Mm-hmm. When you have I never recommend a buyer buy a house without having a home inspection.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
But write in a 7-day home inspection period. However, with the settlement period where you're going to go back to the seller and ask for repairs to be done, you put in 0 days and tell the listing agent, we're not going to ask the seller to make any repairs.
Okay.
Now, of course, you have to make sure that the furnace and the air conditioner, the roof, and everything is in good condition when you walk through. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, and if the buyer's comfortable with that, guess what? Now, I had 2 scenarios. In the last 3 weeks, I had 2 sales. Did that. Mm-hmm. One of them, we won out over 5 other offers. Another one, we went out over 7 other offers. In both cases, the home inspection revealed something that was undetected walking through. Mm-hmm. One was going to cost $2,000. We renegotiated with the seller for a $1,000 less in price.
Right.
Still, we didn't ask for any repairs to be done. And the other one was a $5,000 roofing issue. The seller dropped the price $5,000. We didn't ask for one thing to be repaired. Mm-hmm. We won out. There you go. My friendly realtors, I gave you a couple of tidbits right there. Sellers, if you're listening, those are some little tricks of the trade.
Yep.
Buyers, tell your agent to call me, and I'll be happy to share all these little tidbits. Isn't that cool?
That is very good information, because the better informed you are, the quicker and better it'll happen.
That's right. So here's how the market is. I listed a house in Sharonville 2 weeks ago. Cute little neighborhood. Sellers have lived there for 30 years. I know them from church. Carol and Richard, I don't know if you're listening, but telling your story. Went coming soon for 6 days. By the day it went active, we had 10 showings scheduled. By the end of the day, we had 30 showings.
Wow.
I ended up that evening with 14 offers. Now, I put in the agent remarks because my sellers are building a new house, and their house is going to be ready sometime between September 15 and September 30. What they're most interested in is the flexibility of closing and occupancy. They don't want to make 2 moves. So I've made all the agents aware of that. The winning offer put in the closing date to be determined, decided by seller.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
Bingo.
Yep.
They saw that, and they went, that's our buyer.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. You know, as complex as our business is on the realtor side, the mortgage side, if you just think about it, you know, it makes it easier. And again, this is not in the old days where I'm going to buy a house. The realtor takes you out all weekend long. You look at 15 houses with one person. No, that's not going to happen anymore. You better be prepared.
Yeah, right. Yep. So another little trick for realtors to know, call the listing agent, and they usually ask things like, how many offers do you have? Well, unless my seller gives me permission to disclose that, I don't have to disclose that. Mm-hmm. Here's a good question to ask the listing agent. What is most important to the seller?
Right.
What can I do to make my offer the most attractive offer? And then shut up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to get some good information, and that's how you win out over multiple offers.
Because information is power.
You bet.
Yep.
It's golden. So there you go. So the real estate perspective, I think we didn't mention this. You want to know what's going on in Cincinnati?
Why don't you tell us, Gary, what is going on in Cincinnati?
In the week between July 21st and July 27th, we had 819 new listings. Now, listings are primary right now because we are really low on inventory. It's the first week in about 2 or 3 months that we had fewer pendings than we had new listings. We only had 753 pendings.
Only.
However, we had 549 closings.
In 1 week.
1 week. I had one of those.
Yep. Sounds like my week.
And back on the market, we had 129 go back on the market. Now you wonder, why did they go back on the market? That's a big question.
Mm-hmm.
That's a question to ask the listing agent if you're going to show that house.
Right.
Why did it go back on the market?
And why do they go back on the market?
Usually it's because of a inspection
Right.
problem. Buyer and seller can't come together on inspections. Sellers, the best advice I can give you right now is get your home inspected right up front. I'd like to express my gratitude to all our troops, our veterans, first responders, and our heroes in service and healthcare, our nurses, doctors, nurses, aides, and healthcare staff, EMT staff, police, and firefighters. So often they deal with life and death situations, especially during this pandemic. Thank them and keep them in your thoughts and prayers. If you have a question, call us at 513-563-1480. After our break, we'll have a moment with Myles, and then my co-host, John Engelhard, and I will tell you about for sale by owners, how to and what to be aware of if that's what you decide. You're listening to the Rock and Roll Real Estate Hour on WDJO 1480 AM, now FM 995 and 1079.
The house is a rockin', don't bother knocking. Yeah, the house is a rockin', don't bother knocking. Yeah, the house is a rockin', don't you bother, come on in.
Why rent when you can own with no money down? If you're looking to become a first-time homeowner in the Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky areas, or heck, even if you haven't owned a home in the past 3 years and are now looking to buy, you may be eligible to receive up to $15,000 in homeowners assistance towards closing costs, pre-closing expenses, or even your whole down payment. That's right, you can own your own home with no money down. Find out if you qualify. Call Gary at 513-777-2402. That's Gary at 513-777-2402.
Sycamore Township and the Super 60s Car Club present their 10th annual car show Saturday, August 1st at the Robert Schuller Sports Complex on Deerfield Road. Registration is $15 and goes 9 a.m. till noon with awards at 3:30 that includes 40 Best, Trustee's Choice, plus Best GM, Ford, Mopar, Import, Truck, Street Rod, Engine, Paint, and Best of Show. First 100 receive a dash plaque. Food and drinks available with a disc jockey provided during the show. For more info, visit sycamoretownship.org.
Here's important new information from the Diabetes Solution Center for you, a family member, or a loved one suffering with diabetes. If you have lost your provider, or if you need a provider for diabetic supplies, you may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no-obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-438-1391. 800-438-1391. 800-438-1391. Call right now. 800-438-1391.
Hey Cincinnati, Rick here from Ultimate Air Shuttle. I'm excited to announce the Ultimate Experience is back. On July 20th, flights resume between Cincinnati and Cleveland, Monday through Friday. As always, health and safety is our top priority. We follow and exceed the guidelines set by the CDC. We can't wait to have you on board. Go to ultimateairshuttle.com and explore our new services such as our exclusive GDS visibility for corporate travel agents, Select a Seat, and our all-new Ultimate Plus pricing. Book now at ultimateairshuttle.com.
Get on. Let's rock the house.
We are rocking and rolling this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for listening and watching Facebook. Thank you, guys. I'm your host, Gary Rossignol, with RE/MAX Preferred Group, better known as Cincinnati's Rock and Roll Realtor. The moment we have been waiting for all week long. This is the captain of our ship, Mr. Myles Beersford. This is A Moment with Myles. Good morning, Myles.
Hey, Gary, rock and roll, my friend.
How are you doing?
Gary, the National Association of Realtors' latest survey finds that 3 out of every 4 realtors surveyed reported that their clients haven't reduced their prices to attract buyers. Yes, that means we are still in a seller's market. And further news is that number is up from a week ago. Also, the survey concluded that 30% of realtors said they were able to complete nearly all aspects of real estate transactions while complying with social distancing. Gary, I visited every one of our offices this week, and Chris and I are congratulating the agents at RE/MAX Preferred Group on efforts to continue their business in a safe and compliant manner. And that's this morning's Moment with Myles.
Oh, I love that, Myles. Thank you for giving those little tidbits every week. I appreciate it. Along with his lovely wife, Christine Beersford, they are the captains of our ship at RE/MAX Preferred Group. By the way, RE/MAX Preferred Group is the largest RE/MAX brokerage in the entire state of Ohio, and that's worth being proud of. And yet they treat every one of us like family, and I just love them to death. Thank you for being there for us. We have a lot of regular listeners and each week, and I'm grateful for each and every one of you. Keep telling your friends to tune in. Like us on Facebook, too. To name a few, Carol from South Lebanon, Felicia, Jane RE/MAX, Rich Cox, Leah Crane, Steve Zinzer and Shane Olson, Paul and Elaine, Sean, my family, and also all my other realtor friends who tune in and or watch each week. Later on in the show, we're going to have a visit with Bill Kerrigan of the Dragonfly Foundation, so you don't want to miss that. The Rock and Roll Real Estate Hour is brought to you today by the Rock and Roll Real Estate team at RE/MAX Preferred Group. That's 513-777-2402. Along with my co-host, John Engelhard with Huntington Mortgage. His number, you can get him at 513-505-6397.
That is correct. 505 News.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
NEWS.
That's the golden voice of the MLO on the radio. And our winner, we could give away another winner. Lori Martin won herself a $10 gift card to Starbucks, and I'll just give out that question one more time. An Australian rock singer had a U.S. number 1 in 1981 called Jessie's Girl. Name that singer. 513-563-1480. Call up with the right answer, and you will, alongside of Lori Martin, get yourself a trip to our favorite coffee joint, Starbucks. So the National Association of Realtors, John, put out a little bulletin. Excuse me, got COVID.
He needs some Starbucks.
Yeah, right.
Hey, you know the answer. You could probably get a card and go.
7. I got the answer. I don't qualify. I made up the question. 7 client behaviors emerging from COVID-19. As the effects of the pandemic continue, 9 in 10 realtors say their housing markets are in recovery mode, with many saying their markets are hotter now than a year ago. Here's what's changing. Buyers are in a rush. Last year's buyers looked at an average of 9 homes before making a home purchase. Now they're looking at 3 to 4 before initiating a contract. That may be overstepping the bounds too, because I had a listing in Fairfield went on this Wednesday. We had 14 showings in a day and a half, and an offer was accepted yesterday afternoon. So you have to come when you look at the house, you have to decide right then and there. You don't have time to go home and sleep on it.
Right, exactly.
The buyer says, well, we want to go sleep on it. I'm going to say something like, well, while you're sleeping on it, someone else is buying it.
Right, they've already slept.
Yeah, somebody's writing on it. So buyers are in a rush. They with the technology today, I know I have my listings with over 40 high definition buying it.
Right, they've already slept.
Yeah, somebody's writing on it. So buyers are in a rush. They with the technology today, I know I have my listings with over 40 high definition photos professionally done. Mm-hmm. We do the immersive walkthrough tour where you can on your computer walk from room to room through the house. So you can do that in the comfort of your own home, and also do the drone video tour of the surrounding area and the neighborhood.
You know, one thing you didn't mention on that with the people out there rushing to do this thing, they're not getting pre-approved. What good is it to rush into trying to find something if you're not ready?
If they bring me an offer for my listing and there's no pre-approval letter there, it does not get presented.
Nope.
Can't do it. Just can't do it.
So don't rush unless you have your pre-approval letter in hand.
Wish lists are shifting. Home shoppers are changing some of their priorities for their home features.
Like what?
For example, NAR research shows that top features desired by buyers is a home office.
Well, that makes sense in today's age.
Showing an increased desire for a pool, a garden, and just more space to enjoy the outdoors.
And that's because you can't go anywhere.
24% want a home office. 15% want space to accommodate family, an older adult, relative, a baby, or a pet. 13% larger size home for more personal space. So the third, buyers are less concerned about commutes.
Well, again, if they're in the new age we've got today, if people are working from home,
right, doesn't matter.
Doesn't make any difference where you are.
A remote work grows 22% out of 2,300 realtors survey by NAR say their buyers are becoming less concerned about commute time when shopping for home. Number four, multi-generational households may grow more common. 1 in 6 Generation Xers are younger baby boomers, purchased a multi-generational home pre-COVID. Pets could drive purchase decisions. I had a whole show on pets and moving with your pets about 2 months ago. So many of us have those furry little friends. You got to take those into account. Some folks don't have kids. Their kids are four-legged furry kids. A first-time buyer wave could emerge. Consumers may show more commitment to their home than to long-term relationships. In 1980, 75% of first-time buyers were married. In 2019, that dropped to 53%.
That's true. I see a lot more individuals buying homes than married couples. And conversely, I've also had a good handful of people who are not married who are buying homes.
So let's talk real quick about how to buy a condo with a VA loan. You have some thoughts on that, right?
How to buy a condo with a VA loan.
A lot of people think that condominiums have to be VA approved. True or false?
On VA?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. FHA they have to be.
Right, exactly. Many realtors are not accepting VA offers on condos, and this is a shame. With good negotiating skills by the loan officer and the buyer's agent, along with education, it can be done. The reason some realtors are not accepting VA condo offers because of a misunderstanding of how the VA mortgage program works on condos. Here's a few common myths. Number one myth. Condos need to be on the VA-approved list. Many realtors will turn down condo offers because of the VA condo list. And it's true. There is a list of VA-approved condos, but this list is incomplete. And it's not an end-all, be-all of VA-approved condos.
Well, if it's incomplete, how do you find out the complete list? Because that's what the lenders will be going by.
It's just a starting point. Point of condo complexes where at least one resident has to, at one point, have gotten a VA mortgage loan.
Had already previously gotten one.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, then you're good to go. Myth number 2, the condo association needs to pay huge fees to be VA approved. Another mistake some realtors and loan officers will make is a false claim that there are huge fees that the VA charges to get a condo approved.
No, that's not true.
This is true for FHA, but not true for VA.
Correct.
There are no fees for VA. And myth number 3, VA condo deals take longer to close than conventional condos. Many realtors and loan officers will mistakenly think that because VA financing is being used on a condo that will take longer to close. This is not true. Did you find that?
One codicil to that.
Okay.
With this the overcapacity that all the lenders are and the VA and the FHA, it will take a long time. Will it take longer? Not necessarily so. But with government loans, they scrutinize them pretty closely. So as long as you go into it the right way, you'll be fine.
There you go. That's good answer.
That's the answer to all of them.
Good answer. All right. So, if you're thinking about buying a home or selling a home, I highly recommend that you talk to a professional realtor. The first thing we're going to talk about is the Consumer Guide to Agency Relationships. We need to explain the part that the realtor plays in the transaction. And in doing so, we create an agent-client relationship. And there's 5 fiduciary responsibilities we owe our client: to follow their lawful instructions, be loyal to them, and promote their best interest. Of course, we need to disclose material facts, keep everything confidential. That's if you're listing a house representing the seller. A buyer agent will owe their client the same fiduciary responsibilities. So they get an even representation, buyer-seller. In the state of Ohio, we're allowed to be a dual agent. One agent can represent both buyer and seller. My question is, how can I provide the same level of service for a seller that I would for a buyer in the same transaction?
I have always asked that question because I don't think anything be 50-50. You're representing, it's always someone's going to get the better end of it, it seems like.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just the way it normally would be.
When it comes to negotiating, when it comes to home inspections.
You negotiate with yourself?
I don't like that thing.
Well, no, I think it's different over here. No, I don't like that.
So my professional stand on it is I would not be a dual agent.
No.
I avoid that. But many realtors will, because why?
It's cheaper.
They make more money.
Oh, well, it's cheap. Yeah, it may make more money, but isn't it cheaper for the customer?
Not necessarily.
Really?
No.
So they do 2 fees?
Yeah.
Wow.
They get both sides of the thing. How about that? Stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. Next, we're going to have a visit. No. That's
Get on.
next.
We're going to rewind now.
I have my music history coming up, and along with my co-host John Engelhard, we will discuss the 11 steps for a successful move in the midst of our COVID-19 pandemic. You're listening to the Rock and Roll Real Estate Hour on WDJO 1480, now FM 995 and 107.9.
Ain't got nothing to lose. I've seen it all for years. So start spreading the news.
Steve Chuk apologizes to his Marietta fans, looking forward to his dance and show tribute to the memory of Elvis Presley this coming August 15th. The COVID problems have closed the doors at Coney Island's Pavilion Ballroom, so no one's fault except the pandemic worries. Rescheduling could be possible if the situation improves. Call into the Jewel King store for information and refunds. Better yet, stop in and see the all-new displays at the store. Beautiful jewelry available at many stores, but they can't match the discounted prices that Steve will offer you. The Jewel King, noted for the fair prices he offers for all gold and silver items and many other trade-ins that you no longer want. Steve's a Hall of Fame singer and a fair dealer as well. Call Jewel King at 859-491-3461. 859-491-3461. The Jewel King, 801 Monmouth Street. 859-491-3461. On September the 25th, 2012, WDJO was granted a license by the Federal Communications Commission to serve the public interest as a public trustee until October 1st, 2020. Our license will expire on October 1st, 2020. We filed an application for license renewal with the FCC. A copy of this application is available for inspection during regular business hours. It contains information concerning the station's performance over the last 8 years. Individuals who wish to advise the FCC of facts relating to our renewal application and to whether this station is operated in the public interest should file comments and petitions with the FCC by September 1st, 2020. Further information concerning the FCC's broadcast license renewal process is available at 635 West 7th Street, Suite 201A, Cincinnati, Ohio 45203, or may be obtained from the FCC, Washington, D.C. 20554, or online at www.fcc.gov.
Paperback writer.
I love this part of the show. It's time for my music history, and this is what happened back in 1963. The Beatles Monthly was published, a magazine devoted to the group, and it continued for 77 editions until 1969, and at its peak was selling over 350,000 copies a month.
That's a lot of Beatle bucks.
Yeah. Today in 1964, Billboard magazine reported that the harmonica was making a comeback in a big way thanks to its use by Stevie Wonder, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, and this gentleman, Mr. Bob Dylan. Today in 1970, the film performance featuring Mick Jagger in his acting debut had its UK premiere in London. The British crime drama film directed by Donald Cammell and Nicholas Roeg also featured James Fox. But Mick Jagger in a drama role? Wow. Today in 1971, you mentioned this on your show, the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour started on Primetime America TV. By this time, Sonny and Cher had stopped producing hit singles, so the duo decided to sing and tell jokes in nightclubs across the country. CBS head of programming Fred Silverman saw them one evening and offered them their own show, and the rest was history. That's how it all began.
Yep.
Isn't that neat? Here's the answer to the trivia question. In 1981, Australian singer Rick Springfield started a 2-week run at number 1 on the U.S. singles chart with Jesse's Girl, which later won the singer a Grammy Award for Best Male Rock Vocal Performance. The song was a number 1 when MTV launched on August the 1st in 1981.
Yeah.
And Rick had played Noah Drake in the TV show General Hospital.
How about that? You got to get a start somewhere.
Dr. Noah, that's right.
Dr. Noah.
Today in 1987, Bob Seger scored his first U.S. number 1 single with the Harold Faltermeyer penned Shakedown, which was taken from the film Beverly Hills Cop 2. The song was nominated for both the Academy Award for Best Original Song and Golden Globe Award for Best Original Song, but it lost both awards to this song from Dirty Dancing. I've had the time of my life. Oh my gosh. I bet he was disappointed.
Yeah.
Today in 1987, MTV was launched in Europe. The first video played being Money for Nothing by Dire Straits, which contained the appropriate line, here it comes, I want my MTV.
How about that?
Today in 2002, a new book, Show the Girl the Door, written by former tour manager, disclosed some strange demands by female acts. It revealed that Shania Twain would travel with a sniffer dog in case of bombs. Jennifer Lopez liked her dressing room to be all white, including carpets, flowers, and furniture. Cher would have a high security room for her wigs, while Janet Jackson would have a full medical team on standby, including a doctor, nurse, and throat specialist. And Britney Spears, well, she would demand her favorite gummy bear soft sweets.
I guess Janet Jackson also had a wardrobe malfunction people standing by, too.
Today in 2007, John Lennon's granny glasses were snapped up by a British collector at auction. The sunglasses from one of the last Beatles concerts were expected to fetch around $1,308,000, but auction bosses refused to say what the actual figure was, higher or lower. Lennon gave the gold-rimmed glasses to his Japanese interpreter in Tokyo in 1966, and the translator removed the lenses when Lennon died. We'll never know what they went for. Oh. Born on this day, back in 1953, that makes him 67 years old. What a wonderful musician. John Cray, he's a singer, blues guitarist, and 5-time Grammy Award winner. Cray played with Eric Clapton, Buddy Guy, Jimmy Vaughan, and Stevie Ray Vaughan at the Alpine Valley Music Theater in East Troy, Wisconsin, performing Sweet Home Chicago. This was the Stevie Ray Vaughan's final performance before he died in a helicopter accident that night. However, if you haven't heard Robert Cray, his Sweet Potato Pie album is unbelievable. Pick it up or go to YouTube or whatever and listen to it. This guy is fantastic. So there you go. I hope you found these bits of music history as interesting as I did while researching them to present to you today.
You forgot one more.
What's that?
Channel 19.
Oh, that's right. Tell us about
on this
that.
date in 1968, Channel 19 signed on the air for the first time.
That is unbelievable. That's fantastic. Thank you.
We say hi to the guys down the hall.
That's right. My son-in-law works there. Dale. Hey, Dale. You guys' anniversary is today. I don't know if you know it or not. I'll have to call him later and just remind him of that.
I saw the cake in the hallway.
Oh, okay.
All over the place.
There you go. So I'm called Cincinnati's Rock and Roll Realtor, and here's why. I play with the greatest classic rock band, Bluestone Ivory. And you can go to bluestoneivory.com and you can see our little short list of performances coming up, which right now we're scheduled September 5th at Keener Park in Westchester. And let's just keep our fingers crossed and hold our breath. And everybody wear your masks and stay 6 feet apart so that does come off okay. We don't have any more spikes in the COVID-19. And along with my co-host, Mr. John Engelhard, he is with Huntington Mortgage, 513-505-6397. Again, I'd like to express my gratitude to all our heroes in service and healthcare, nurses and doctors, nurses, aides, and healthcare staff, EMT staff, police and firefighters, also our truckers and restaurateurs, cashiers, especially our realtors, those in mortgage lending. All those are considered essential services providers during this pandemic, so thank them for being there for you and keep them in your thoughts and prayers. When you go in and do your carry out, whatever, thank those folks. They don't have to be there, but they are to help us.
Absolutely.
And, with things closing up a little bit more, and the last call's 10 o'clock.
Yeah, so I heard. Thank goodness I live on the other side of the river. We don't have it at all.
And that's what they're afraid of. They're going to come. They're going to cross the river and enjoy longer times. But anyhow, so we've been talking a lot about. Here we go. Let's talk about the reasons for giving up renting.
Yes.
There's number one, home ownership costs less per month paying a mortgage. Mm-hmm. You're going to pay something unless you're living with mom and dad.
Right. That's a whole other different discussion.
Or unless you don't have a place and there's shelters.
Live in a van down by the river.
Yeah, right. Okay. But home ownership costs less per month. Rents are high.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
To get a 2-bedroom apartment with a bath and a half, you're going to pay $1,200 a month.
And that's because people who can't buy houses because of what's going on. The renters know that. The landlords know that. And all of a sudden, they're jacking those prices up.
Right.
And make it difficult for everybody. So it makes it better for us because the rents are so high. You can buy a house and live in it cheaper.
How much house can you buy for $1,200 a month?
You can buy a good-sized house for $1,200.
PITI.
I would think
about
$150,000, $175,000.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's a nice house in Deer Park.
Yeah. It beats a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment.
Absolutely. And it's yours. Mm-hmm. Not only that, but every time you make a mortgage payment, you have a tax deduction. So if you're working, you can take your mortgage interest, you can take your taxes, you can deduct those based on your what your tax rate is. Mm-hmm. If you're 28% tax break, add it up, 28%, you're going to get a nice big fat check at the end of the year from Uncle Sam because you bought that house.
Right.
And if you live in it for 5 or 10 years, we don't know what market values are going to be like in 5 or 10 years, but if you bought a house 10 years ago and you're trying to sell it today, I can guarantee you, in fact, I just helped a couple, they bought a house 5 years ago, they're going to walk away with $50,000 after everything's paid for.
Oh, yeah. It's a good investment. People don't say use your house as a bank, but it's an investment. It really and truly is.
It's a good business decision. So that's number one. Homeownership offers more value. We touched on that. Homeownership adds stability to your living situation. If you're in an apartment, you can't have that fire pit in your backyard and a garden.
And what if the landlord decides to sell his house or he goes under? Then you have no place to live.
Right.
So as long as you make your mortgage payments, you're going to be sitting hunky-dory.
Right. We talked about the benefit for mortgage interest and deduct the real estate taxes. And home ownership gives you better credit history.
True. And it's yours.
It helps you establish roots, and it helps you build a retirement nest egg.
And you're not paying somebody else's mortgage by renting.
Exactly.
Because that's what you're doing when you're a renter.
That is absolutely the absolute truth. And, I wanted to touch on one other thing here. Where is it? Here it is. "11 deadly mistakes buyers make when purchasing a home." And
that kind of goes with something I've got, too.
The first one is being unrealistic. Number 2 is not doing your homework before start looking.
True.
And number 3 is really number 1 on my list, not getting your finances in order.
Oh, yeah. The ability to pay is number 1 in buying a house.
If they don't call you first and get a pre-qualification letter from you, there's no sense in even looking at any house.
No, because a realtor is not going to take you seriously.
Exactly. So stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. Next, we're going to have a visit with Bill Kerrigan of the Dragonfly Foundation. You've been listening to the Rock and Roll Real Estate Hour on WDJO 1480, now FM 995 and 107.9.
The house is a rockin', don't bother knocking.
Why rent when you can own with no money down? If you're looking to become a first-time homeowner in the Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky areas, or heck, even if you haven't owned a home in the past 3 years and are now looking to buy, you may be eligible to receive up to $15,000 in homeowners assistance towards closing costs, pre-closing expenses, or even your whole down payment. That's right, you can own your own home with no money down. Find out if you qualify. Call Gary at 513-777-2402. That's Gary at 513-777-2402.
Are you already thinking about next summer? Well, you should be. Give yourself something to look forward to. Call cruise planners Joe and Bobby Underwood today, and they'll help you make it happen. You want to go on a cruise? They can make it happen. You want to go enjoy an all-inclusive resort in Mexico or the Caribbean? They can make it happen. Do you want to explore Europe or Asia? Yep, you guessed it. They can make it happen. One call to cruise planners Joe and Bobby Underwood, 859-488-1837 is all it takes. Life is to enjoy, and there's no one better to call to make it happen than cruise planners Joe and Bobby Underwood. Call today to take advantage of low travel fares and special amenities on thousands of cruise sailings and tour departures worldwide. Let cruise planners Joe and Bobby Underwood help you make it happen today. 859-488-1837. Call 859-488-1837 or go to helpmebookit.com. They're easy to find. Just Google Cruise Planners Joe and Bobby Underwood.
We know these are scary times, and Save Discount Drugs is here to help. I'm Dan Beebe, owner of Save Discount Drugs in Covington. As an essential business, Save Discount Drugs will remain open to provide our customers with their prescription needs. As always, we will continue to offer free home delivery to Covington and surrounding communities. We also now offer curbside pickup, just call us at 859-431-2857 and we'll bring your prescription right to your car. Our doors, of course, remain open. We ask that you limit groups to no more than 2 people and respect social distancing guidelines. Save Discount Drugs still offers everyday low pricing on all prescription medications, and we can fill most prescriptions in 15 minutes or less. We have free parking behind our store with a convenient back entrance. Save Discount Drugs is located 4 doors north of the Madison Theater at 716 Madison Avenue in downtown Covington. That's Save Discount Drugs, 859-431-2857, or check us out online at savediscountdrugs.com.
It's Mattress Firm's Summer Save and Sleep event. Save up to $300 on our top-rated brands like Beautyrest, Serta, Sealy, and more. Plus, get a free adjustable base with select mattress purchase of $6.99. Or get up to 50% off select mattresses from our best-selling brands. Don't wait. Shop in-store, online at mattressfirm.com, or by phone for these amazing deals. Only at Mattress Firm. Offer valid with qualifying purchase. Restrictions apply. Valid at participating locations only. Some products only available online. For offer details, visit mattressfirm.com/sale.
Get on. Let's rock the house.
We have definitely been rocking and rolling this morning, right, John?
That's correct there, Gary, my friend.
I'm the Rock and Roll Realtor with Remax Preferred Group, along with my co-host, the MLO on the radio, John Engelhard with Huntington Bank. The Dragonfly Foundation supports pediatric cancer families and patients by building a network that connects Dragonfly families to each other and the community, providing programs that enhance quality of life, enhancing programs and partner with Cincinnati Children's Hospital, the greatest children's hospital in the entire country, probably the world. This gentleman is on the board of directors of the Dragonfly Foundation. He is their number one cheerleader and number one fan for years. I like to call him my friend, Mr. Bill Kerrigan. Hey, good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Gary.
So, how are you?
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you, Bill?
Doing great. Doing fantastic.
We got a couple things to bring up about the Dragon. In about 30 seconds, let our listening audience know exactly what the Dragonfly Foundation does.
Absolutely. What we do is we support the entire family when a child is diagnosed.
Things to bring up about the Dragon. In about 30 seconds, let our listening audience know exactly what the Dragonfly Foundation does.
Absolutely. What we do is we support the entire family when a child is diagnosed with pediatric cancer. You know, the world just stops. And we meet them right at Cincinnati Children's Hospital. We give them supplies. We give them support, often gift cards, so they can get a meal. And we just wrap our arms around the families and give them, love and support. And we support them mentally and physically every way we possibly can. And we also make sure that the siblings are not forgotten when one child in the family is dealing with cancer. So that's what we do, and we've been doing it for over 10 years.
And you've been doing it very successfully, too, because you have tons of success stories on your website, which is dragonfly.org. Just look them up on the internet, and it's a beautiful website. And you really rely on your donations, and that's what a 501c3 nonprofit organization does. They rely on folks to help them, and usually you do about 250 fundraisers a year, and now we're down to about a handful that are going to really bring in some money for to help you out.
The last 5 or 6 months have been rough. I won't sugarcoat it. Our donations are probably off about 40%.
Wow!
And you can imagine how hard it is to provide the support that we provide families with donations being off. But the good news is your listeners can help us in a number of ways. And Gary, the first way that they could help us is to join you and I at 7 o'clock at Texas Roadhouse this week.
This Wednesday, you bet. We'll be there.
It's Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Texas
Wednesday
Roadhouse, which is up in Westchester, right off of I-75 at Tylersville Road. Texas Roadhouse, one of my favorite, next to Jags. Texas Roadhouse is my favorite steak place in town. So, yeah.
So on our website, Gary, I just want to remind you listeners, on the website, if you go to events and you go to the August calendar and click on August 5th, you'll see a flyer. You need to print that flyer and bring it to Texas Roadhouse so that Dragonfly can get 10% of your food purchase.
There you go. If anybody comes and joins us, guess what? I'm going to add another 10% of their bill to the Dragonfly Foundation.
You know what? I'll match you.
All right.
I'll match you. All they have to do is find us, and we'll buck up for them.
You got it. 10% each on their bills. $50. That's going to be another
15. No.
5 from you and 5 from me.
Yeah. There you go. All right. We'll do it. We can even do better than that. All right. So anyhow, the next thing that you have.
Things.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bill.
Just a couple other things to remind your listeners, Gary. Golf outing coming up September the 28th. Finally, we're going to have our golf outing.
Yeah.
Out at the Heritage Club. And I know you're going to be playing, Gary. I'm going to be playing, and really look forward to it. We're still looking for foursomes, and we're still looking for sponsors. So that's a way, if you love a good round of golf and a wonderful day, our event is one of the best in the city, and your listeners will absolutely love it.
You play golf?
Poorly, yes.
Doesn't matter. My co-host John Engelhard, the MLO on the radio, says he plays poorly, but that doesn't matter, does it, Bill?
It doesn't. It doesn't. I'm going to be out there hacking around too. So, John, come on out and join us.
Only if I have a club in each hand.
There you go.
I won't miss that way.
So
there you go. And then, Gary, just a couple of other things real quick. The easiest ways to help us out, if you can find a place in your heart to support the Dragonfly Foundation, Kroger Community Rewards. Very simple to Google Kroger Community Rewards instructions and designate the Dragonfly Foundation there. All you'll need is your Kroger Rewards card and your alternate ID, which is typically your home phone number, and you can designate the Dragonfly Foundation. So every time you go to Kroger, you'll be making a small donation.
And don't forget Amazon Smiles.
Foundation.
Don't forget Amazon Smiles.
Amazon Smile is the same, very similar program. If you just Google Amazon Smile instructions, it'll take you right there, and you go into Amazon Smile, you connect your Amazon account, designate the Dragonfly Foundation, and you're off and running.
And who doesn't shop on
Amazon?
Amazon?
You end with your favorite way to give, Wings 15.
Here's something else they can do right now, Bill. They can text the word Wings15 to 71777 on their smartphone. A very secure website's going to pop open for them, and they can donate just $5 right now. 10, 15, 50, whatever makes you feel good. That's Wings15 at 71777 on your smartphone. And every $5 helps. Every little bit helps.
Big time. Thank you, Gary.
But yeah, Amazon Smiles. Not too many people know about that. When you log on to Amazon, just log on to Amazon Smiles, and there you go. 5 minutes? Oh wow, we got plenty of time. All right, so we do have another fundraiser that's coming up for our biker friends.
Absolutely.
Ride for the Dragonfly.
Go to the website and go to events, and you're going to find the Ride for Dragonfly. You can sign up right there for people that like to take a nice motorcycle ride on a weekend. It's a great way to be involved. It's going to be at Queen City Harley in Fairfield. It'll start there and end there, and there'll be food trucks and there'll be activities for the whole family. So if you like the bikes, come on out and join us.
That's on September the 12th. Beginning at 8:30 to 10:30. Kickstands will be up at 11, and away they go. There'll be some entertainment, like you said, food trucks and everything. There you go. We got a lot of folks that like. You don't have to drive a Harley to go either. You can,
no.
Schwinn?
Probably
just show up and hang out.
Probably a little moped. Put your faux leather jacket on and drive your moped, and away you go.
There you go.
All right, so go to dragonfly.org Everything is on that website. Plenty of videos, a lot of testimonials. You get to see in action the good that they do. And my friend Bill Kerrigan, thank you very much for coming on this morning. We will see you Wednesday at 7 o'clock at Texas Roadhouse. We're just about out of time. Thanks for a great show. Thanks to all who tuned in and watched us on Facebook, alongside my co-host, Mr. John Engelhard. If you missed any of the shows, you can listen to them on the podcast, both audio and all the Facebook videos are right there, and they are on my website, rockincincy.com, or you can go to itunes.com, the Rock and Roll Real Estate Hour. Tell them how they can get in touch with you, John.
Oh, you can get in touch with me various ways. My office number is 859-342-2512. Again, 859-342-2512. My email, which is John, Jon, no H, got the H out, jon.engelhard at huntington.com. And, give me a call if you have any questions on purchases, refinances. Been doing this for 30-plus years. And never ceases to amaze me how things change on a daily basis. So whatever you thought you did a year ago, 2 years ago, it's all different
now.
It seems like all the guidelines are written in sand.
Yeah. So refinances are really hot right now, aren't they?
Yes. People who bought their houses 3 or 4 years ago who may have bought them and they were at 4.5%, let's say, and they were on a 30-year, and all of a sudden they got, 25 years left. They could look at a 20-year or 15-year loan, and their payments could be the same or slightly higher, and knock off 7 or 8 years, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of payments to do a refinance.
A lot of interest saved.
It is, and you own your house sooner, and we're getting a lot of that. It's just amazing. People from that I did loans for years and years ago are calling my cell because they still had my number, going, "Yeah, we did this loan back in 2005, and it was at 6%." And it's like, well, okay, hey,
there you go.
Let me get some information. We'll update it for you.
All right. Well, please remember, I am a realtor, and I am open for business. You can just call me at 513-777-2402. And please don't forget to hug your kids, call your parents, kiss your spouse every day, and wash your hands constantly. Practice social distancing and wear a mask when you're in public. The Rock and Roll Real Estate Hour has been brought to you today by the Rock and Roll Real Estate team and my co-host, John Engelhard with Huntington Mortgage. Coming up next is Wesley Adams and the Car Tech Show, and I would like to end my show with a little patriotic message. With everything that's going on in the world today, I heard another radio personality in their show like this, and I said, I just love it. So here goes. I always stand for our national anthem, and I only kneel for my God, Jesus Christ. So let's all stand for the national anthem of the United States of America, performed by the U.S. Army Band.